Of Philadelphia is about 2 million people. That makes it the 6th largest city in the U.S. Did you know that we are, in effect, adding a new city the size of Philadelphia to our country every year?
Wow, that's cool. That's like growth, right? Like you want growth in a society, don't you?
That's how many illegal immigrants came into the United States in 2021 and will in 2022. I totally get why people want to come here. I'm sure I'd do the same if I were in their shoes. In America, they can earn more money than where they're from. In America, there's the rule of law. In America, there's opportunity. And in America, there are generous government benefits, housing subsidies, free education for their kids, free medical care. That's the illegal immigrant side of the story.
Okay, so the illegal immigrant side of the story is that America is awesome, and there's a bunch of free stuff here.
And it makes perfect sense. But what about our side of the story, the American?
What about our side of the story? Yes, these hetero couples and then the incel at the back. Well, how come he doesn't get a woman? Oh wait, hold on. We got 1 hetero couple, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dude, he's left out, or they got they got a polyamory situation, or they're all in one giant polycule.
Taxpayers' side of the story. Do we get a say in this?
Do we get a say in this?
Seems like we should. It's estimated that Americans spend. Do we get a say in this?
Get a say in what? Whether someone moves near you? Like,
we should. It's estimated that.
Do I get a say whether like you move over here, like near where I live? Like, is that something I have the right to say, like, hey, like, you can't live here?
That Americans spend $200 billion a year to house, feed, school, and care for illegal immigrants.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's a number that you can assign. I have a sinking feeling he's not going to present the other number, which is the wealth that they generate. How much wealth do they generate?
If you say that we're a rich country, that these people are fleeing poverty and war.
Right. Also, who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for the poverty and war?
And it's simply the compassionate thing to do.
It's simply the compassionate thing to do. It's compassion? That's the reason? I don't know, I thought this was just economic policy.
For us to let them come here and stay here.
It's compassionate to let them come here and stay here. I mean, it's not really so much that, as in that it doesn't really make any sense, and it's just unnecessarily, cruel to prevent someone from moving to a place by putting an armed guard at a location and saying that if you cross this line, we're gonna fuck you up. Like, that is kind of weird. Like, it's weird to do that.
Then I would ask,
like, if there's no space in your neighborhood for them, then, like, you can be like, hey, like, we don't have any space here. But that's, like, a different issue. But, I mean, that's what they're saying, right? They're saying, like, there's no space here, but there's physical space, and then there's, like, metaphorical space. Like, oh, there's not enough to go around. Is that even true?
where do you draw the line?
Where
do you draw the line at all? Should we let anyone from anywhere into the country?
Yes? Like, why? Why wouldn't you? Could you explain that?
Wouldn't that be the compassionate thing to do?
I mean, why does compassion have anything to do with it? It's just like, why would you not? Why would you not do it?
The people who come across our southern border are overwhelmingly poor with very limited education.
Whoa, okay. Kind of mean.
This isn't a judgment.
It's not a judgment.
A fact.
It's a fact,
Doesn't
alright.
it seem like
Alright, well, I think it's the fact that you're a dollar store Zac Efron and that you look like you have a vacant 500-yard stare like a fucking doll. Like you have like little doll eyes because you're looking at a teleprompter and you can't memorize lines.
please?
And everybody in this kind of, in this sphere, you know, you have a lot of conservative media figures who are just not very talented. They're just not very talented at video production or media production or anything creative. And rather than working on their skills, they have found a niche where all they have to do is be presentable enough. Like they have to just cross this like really like low bar and then just say things that people want to hear. And they'll get money because no one else is saying these things.
That these illegal immigrants would work for almost any wage to
Look at his eyes. It's like look at his eyes.
make money? Wouldn't that drive down these illegal immigrants would work for almost any wage to make money?
Right.
Wouldn't that drive down wages for low-skilled American citizens of every race and ethnicity?
What's the causal link here? So because the immigrants are allowed to come, employers are like, we need to drive these low wages down. As if they didn't want to do that already. Like, are you telling me that if illegal immigration was not a thing, that employers would not be wanting to drive low wages down? And doesn't it make more sense? Isn't it the more compassionate thing to do? To hold employers accountable for the wages that they offer? Like maybe instead we can, I don't know, regulate the economy such that you're not allowed to give someone a low wage.
With whom they would be competing for jobs? Citizens of every race and ethnicity?
Every race and ethnicity. Every race and ethnicity. Yes. Of course.
With whom they would be competing for jobs? What happens to those citizens, including legal immigrants, if they get priced out of the job market altogether? Is anybody thinking about them?
Yes, no one is saying. Is anyone thinking about them? Is anyone not thinking about them? Like, who out here is like, yes, we need to support legal immigrants, but not the legal ones, or the citizens. Those guys can get bent. That's not a real position that exists.
Violent crime is increasing across the country.
Therefore, we have a man of straw.
Rate. Under the about them, violent crime is increasing across the country at an alarming rate.
Is that even true? Is that true?
Under these circumstances, does it make sense to allow 2 million people a year into the country about whom we know nothing?
Okay, so the story here is that millions of criminals are coming across the border. What does this have to do with jobs? I thought these people wanted jobs. And so, if you're working a steady job, you can't also be a criminal. Like, you can't also be a career criminal. Like, those two things aren't compatible. Like, why would you lump those two things together?
We don't know if they have a criminal record, if they're carrying a disease.
I don't know if you have a criminal record, if you're carrying a disease, Mr. Bootleg Zac Efron.
Or anything else about them.
I don't know anything about you, except that you dress like you're ready to go to a fucking Georgetown, like, soiree. Like, what the fuck?
We often
Like, a blue blazer and a white dress shirt. Like, who
hear the
are you
phrase,
trying to impress
we
here?
are a if they're carrying a disease, or anything else about them.
If they're carrying a disease, these fucking diseased little rats, they're coming here and they're stealing our fucking jobs. They're stealing your fucking job!
We often hear the phrase, "We are a nation of immigrants."
Yes, that is not a judgment. That is a fact.
But until relatively recently, the only way immigrants could enter the country was legally.
Huh? What kind of point is that?
But until relatively recently, the only way immigrants could enter the country was legally.
Okay.
Maybe you remember the scene in the classic movie Godfather 2, when young Vito Corleone comes to America from Italy. When he arrives, he has to go through Ellis Island. He has smallpox, so he's quarantined for 3 months. That was over 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do we do anything like that now? And what?
Yes? What? Are you saying we don't do that? Like, what?
What are we going to do with these millions of illegal immigrants once they have been here?
What are we gonna do with all these filthy fucking brown people? Oh, I mean, immigrants.
Millions of illegal immigrants once they have been here, say, 5 years or 10 years or longer. Forcibly immigrants once they have been here, say, 5 years or 10 years. These millions of illegal immigrants once they have been here, say, 5 years, months. That was over 100 years ago. Do we do anything like that now? And what are we going to do with these millions of illegal immigrants once they have been here, say, 5 years or 10 years or longer? Forcibly deport them? We all know that's never going to happen. Make them citizens? After they broke our laws to get into the country? We know the drug cartels control the...
What? Make them citizens after they broke our laws. They broke one law. And then when you make them citizen, you nullify that law that they broke. Because perhaps the law that they broke is more of a formality than anything. Because if someone lives here and they're working, they're contributing to the economy. Okay.
Border on the Mexican side. We know that you can't cross into America without paying them a sizable bribe. We know that this bribe money adds up to millions, maybe billions of dollars. Doesn't this mean that we are helping to make the cartels richer and more powerful?
Yes. So what we should do is we should disincentivize this by relaxing border security. Because if the border security isn't as restrictive, then if the border security isn't as restrictive, then there won't be this situation where people have to bribe to get across. So yeah, let's just make the borders more permissive then. I agree.
What do you think the cartels do with this money? Give it to the Red Cross? Or use it to further corrupt Mexico's police and government officials? Not to mention buy weapons or anything else they want. We also know that the cartels use migrants to smuggle in drugs like fentanyl that are killing our young people.
That guy's loaded up with fucking drugs, dude. They're diseased, they're poor, and they're riddled with drugs. And they're gonna give it to your children after soccer practice.
Same cartels engage in human trafficking, especially of young women. Same cartels engage in human trafficking, especially of young women.
You don't care about young women, dude. We already know that we don't care about young women. Or any woman, right? Why would you be attacking reproductive rights then? That's part of your platform, PragerU.
Aren't we encouraging this criminal activity by allowing illegal immigration to proceed virtually unchecked? If you had a new Philadelphia...
We have a really, really easy way to solve the illegal immigration crisis. Making it not a crime anymore. Then you can't break the law.
Philadelphia worth of illegal immigrants to our population every year. Is it reasonable to suggest that the worth of illegal immigrants to our population unchecked? If you had a new Philadelphia worth of illegal immigrants to our population every year, is it reasonable to suggest that this will alter the character of the nation?
Dude, what is this NIMBY bullshit, dude? Alter the character, it's gonna, alter the character of the nation, oh my god. Oh my god, it's gonna alter the character of the community. It's gonna alter the character of the community. No, the homeowners association won't let me turn my lawn into a shrine to Christopher Walken. They're trying to restrict me from having the right character of the community I want. Don't they see? Don't they see?
These are people, after all, who are raised in a different culture.
Okay. He acknowledges that they're people. I gotta give him that. I gotta give him credit where credit is due. He acknowledges that they are human beings. That's important. It's really important.
With different traditions and values than ours. We will either change them or they will change us.
Okay.
Which do you...
Why? I mean, you do your thing, dude. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't tell you how to live your fucking life, okay? I don't tell you how to dress. Which you clearly need advice and some help on that. Like I don't tell you how to dress. I don't tell you, like I'm saying that you look like a fucking dweeb, but I'm not telling you that you have to not dress like a dweeb. I'm just saying that you look like a bootleg Zac Efron. And you know, do with that information what you will. I'm just stating facts. It's not a judgment. But your clothes look bad, and they're not stylish. And I think that you need to memorize your lines. Like, you need to do that. Why do you have a teleprompter for a 4-minute video? This isn't a live event. Just memorize lines. Like, how hard is it to memorize lines?
Ours. We will either who are raised in a different culture with different traditions and values than ours. We will either change them or...
What's the culture here? Can you state what your culture is? What's your culture? Are you saying that if enough of these disease-ridden, rat-infested, fucking drug-smuggling immigrants come to this country that you will be forced to dress differently? That you will be forced to throw your blue that you will be forced to throw your blue blazer and white dress shirt in the trash can? Your culture.
They will change us. Which do you think is more likely to happen? One
What do you think?
reason countries have borders and immigration policies is to preserve their national culture. A country without countries have borders and immigration policies. Which do you think is more likely to happen? One reason countries have borders and immigration policies is to preserve their national culture.
That's the reason? I mean, like, I guess in some like weird abstract way. The way you're putting it, it sounds like just straight up nationalism.
A country without borders is not a country. So,
I mean, that's not true. That's just not true. Borders didn't always exist. Like, this is just anachronistic. Borders weren't really a thing until like a century ago.
isn't it just common sense to want to protect our borders? Why do...
Isn't it common sense? No? Not really. Okay, I'm gonna set up a wall right here, and anybody who crosses this wall, I'm gonna fucking shoot them. And if I catch anyone that is on the other side of the wall over here, then I'm going to throw them out back there. Why are you doing this, sir? Why are you setting this up? Well, because if they come here, then they're going to work. Okay, but don't you want people to do work in your land? Yes, but we only want certain people to do work. Okay, why? Because those people are registered. And if you're unregistered, then you can't work. Alright, that's fair. Oh, but, yes, you have a point there, but these people are literally dying, so, like, it makes sense why they would be at all costs coming over here. They're coming here in such large numbers that it really kind of makes the point about, you know, this whole registration formality a little bit moot. Because things are just that bad over there. Which, by the way, is your fault on the other side of the border. Like it just is. You just are responsible for that, and it would be anachronistic to suggest otherwise. Just look up the United Fruit Company. Just look up Pinochet, and connect the dots on the U.S.'s involvement there. It's not a conspiracy. The CIA engaged in operations to destabilize the region politically so that U.S. industries such as the United Fruit Company could have access to land and resources so that they could profit. And there were alliances across private industry and the government. Alan Dulles' connections to, I think the Dulles had connections to the United Fruit Company. I'll have to double check that.
People say walls don't work. Countries all over the world, in Europe, in the Middle East, have border walls. They work.
I don't believe you? What do you mean they work?
Why
They work. That's my argument. They work.
should our border wall be any different? If we're willing to send $40 billion to a country in Eastern Europe to defend its borders, why are we unwilling to spend half of that to defend our own border by building an effective border wall? We have a border, but we don't guard it. And we have immigration laws, but we don't enforce them. For all practical purposes, our borders are open. How many more cities the size of Philadelphia are you willing to admit before you say, enough? Just asking. I'm Will Witt for Prager University.
Just asking questions. JAQ, jacking off. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking questions. I'm just jacking off, you fucking prick. I'm just jacking off. You fucking prick.